Okay, your turn to drink this, and I will take that. Okay.
Blah, 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 blah.
We're not sure if we're live. Are we live?
I don't know yet. Figure it out.
I wonder what kind of voices we're gonna do at each other.
I don't know really.
Have you ever played this game?
I've played it before, like, but a different story, so this is a whole new story. Have you ever played this kind of game also? Like, have you ever played like a text adventure game?
Not really, I guess. I'm not sure, because like, I mean, for a while when I was, I don't know, boyfriendless pa, I would do those parang dating sims, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh.
parang manga, yeah. There was one really good one though, na parang siyang, it was Korean, and parang mukha siyang messaging app, and you're basically talking to like a lot of
Alright.
Korean stars or something. Yo, it was really good. I got kilig. They would pretend to call you and stuff. No, I'm serious. It was really good.
I think I should flip that. I should. Oh, what
Flip
happened?
what?
There you go.
Flip what?
Anyway,
What are you doing?
thanks for joining us,
Oh my
guys.
God!
We should start that. No, I'm joking. We're doing Rogue's Choice. This is what's it called? It's a D&D style choice adventure game.
I mean, look at the hair on that guy. That is some nice friggin' hair.
It's
Just
gonna
wanna
be-
say.
It's gonna be interesting how to do voices for him, but yeah, that's
You gotta be that guy, I
I-
assume.
we'll just take turns, like however.
I'm gonna be that guy?
I don't know, yeah, why not? Rogue's Choice, Chapter 1 by Sam Landstrom. Gods, the Duke's men are greedy, you think. Hopefully you're done paying bribes for the day. The guards demanded all your money and then all your weapons in return for letting you through the gate. So we're going through a gate. We're going through a gate to some town. You're glad they
Imagine
didn't,
it.
you're glad they didn't discover your hidden coin purse and daggers.
You have a coin purse?
So we have 10 life right now, and we have 6 gold. So
10 life and 6
Yeah.
gold, okay.
at least they can be bought, you think. You understand men like that? Men like that will keep their mouths shut if anyone comes sniffing around for deserters from Lord Wallington's army. Weird name, Lord
Lord
Wallington.
Wallington.
The tales you have heard of Ring City are true. It is massive and alive. Street vendors everywhere, horses and wagons charging through the crowds, shouting, laughing. The smell of horse manure and worse fills the air. Despite the stench, you smile when you see the sign for the Green Dragon Inn. The painting of the dragon and the letters underneath are so worn they can barely be made out. A drink at last, you think as you enter the inn. It's only afternoon, yet there are customers scattered about the large hall. The fire is unlit on the hearth. Hearth?
Earth.
Hearth?
Earth.
Hearth.
Earth?
And the air is cool. The barkeep wipes a glass as he watches over a trio of
Perfect
men
music, by the way.
playing cards at a nearby table, their skin grimy and their hair unkempt. Men from the silver mine, you think. A serving wench wearing a stained apron walks past the miners balancing a
Damn!
tray
Language!
with tall mugs of ale and what looks like hunks of cheese. One of the miners casually swipes at her rump but misses. Buti na lang he missed. Good. Her ass.
Oh!
Or rump,
Oh,
like
it's
that.
good that you missed.
There are people at several other tables. An attractive pair of richly dressed young women catches your eye. Maybe it's actually the large golden bracelets around the delicate arm.
Ako kasi.
I'm a rogue of one that catches your attention. The women lean into each other, chatting merrily. There's an unopened bottle of wine and a pair of empty wine glasses between them. All the ladies
Those are my women.
getting turned. A muscular soldier sits at another table across from a woman with long black hair that matches her billowing cloak. He's not in armor, only a tunic, but his sheathed out shithead.
Sheath!
But his
Sword!
is on the table. From the insignia on his cloak, you know him as one of the Duke's men. The woman might be pretty, but her face is pinched. As though deep in thought, of course. As though deep in thought. Of course, you have been marching with men at arms over the last few months. Every woman is comely.
It's like mean.
Parang, I guess,
It kind of sounds like something else.
from what I understand, it's like
Becoming?
becoming because you've been at like marching with men for so long kahit sinong babae mukhang maganda na sa'yo.
What the fuck? That is a bad description. Hoy, wala nang ibang babae kaya ako maganda.
A mangy dog makes the rounds between tables looking for scraps or a scratch. The soldier looks up at you, a smiling ring on his face from his conversation. Your stomach clenches. What do you do?
What do you do?
Act as though you don't notice him or nod at him in greeting.
Okay, if you nod at him in greeting, he's going to talk to you.
Yeah, so would you acknowledge or do you just...
But why would you not want to?
Because you're a thief.
Oh, you're a thief. But won't you...
Oh yeah, apparently doesn't it mean that they're pretty looking. So this dude has been away for a while. Like just with men, and apparently every woman's coming.
Oh my god.
Act chill.
Why?
You don't want to alert the cops. So let's act as though we didn't.
What is define chill? Chill is like you smile at him, or chill as in like I don't give a shit.
Apparently.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I supposed to say that?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Fuck the cops is not in the options.
Say hi. Okay. I want you to decide. Like, do you want to say hi to a cop or do you want to not notice him? We're on the first question.
Shut up! Yeah, shut up! I would nod at him in greeting.
Nod at him in greeting. Alright.
Shit. I will not appear afraid, you think. You nod at the soldier. His eyes widen slightly, as though only now noticing you. He does not nod back, rather he holds your gaze for a tense moment. You turn your attention away from him, to the bar straight ahead, and take what you hope is a confident step forward. Concentrating on the aroma of cooking meat, you do your best to smile. Certainly he will mind his comely companion over me, you reassure yourself. You risk a glance back at the soldier. Thankfully, you were right. His attention is back to the cloaked woman and they're speaking quietly.
So, it was a courtesy nod, like nothing really happened so much, just, you know. Yo, I don't want to be a dick. He's probably drinking. If you don't notice him, he's probably gonna get mad at you and beat you up. So, yeah, nodding at him might have worked out better.
Thank that comely woman. As you stride further into the inn, you again consider your situation. You're low on gold, and in a city like this one, that's a very bad thing. If you don't want to be sleeping out in the street tonight, you're going to need to make some coin. Far worse than sleeping in the gutter, however, is missing your payment. 10 gold pieces by Sunday tonight, or I may as well slit my own throat, you think. 10 gold by sundown tonight and another payment every new moon until your debt is paid. That was the arrangement with House Vru'dahir. Vru'dahir. Not that you had a choice.
So apparently we're in debt.
We're in deep shit. There's no way to make that kind of coin in the next few hours in any honest way. You walk up to the table of miners. I almost said miners. You walk up to the table of miners, not minors. May I join you? One of the miners, a blonde man with gray in his beard, looks up at you. Of course, boy! And bring your mother so she can sit on my lap as you suckle her cheeks.
What?
Gross! One of the other three laughs, his filthy beard dropping crumbs onto the table. The third miner just stares at his cards, his eyes half glazed, seemingly oblivious. This game of cards may require an upfront investment. You could buy them a round of drinks to buy in at the table while increasing your opponent's intoxication, or you could simply ask to join them. What do you do? Okay, it's your choice.
Okay, so we want to get money. We need 10 gold by the end of the night. And these guys are miners.
Miners, not miners.
Miners nga, and nurse. So pagod sila, they came from a day of working. Pero we don't know how strong they drink. But, and they're playing cards.
But they're miners, I feel like they would drink.
They might drink.
Yeah.
But, even though they do drink, a little more beer wouldn't hurt.
I would like some beer.
What kind
Should
of
I
beer?
get some beer?
Sige,
Alright, I'm gonna get some beer.
Why is this Legend of Zelda music all of a sudden? Well, at the same time, if we don't buy them around, they might actually just not, you know. So... I guess I'll buy them around.
Okay. Oh, there's another...
What kind of drink will you buy?
They're drinking ale right now. You could give them another round of that, or you could spend a little more and buy a round of the harder stuff. Ooh, that's an interesting choice.
Well, if I want to be a high roller, I'm gonna buy them the harder stuff.
Well, I need to make money fast, so...
A round of Dragon's Fire for my friends here. You shout to the barkeep, perhaps with a bit more bravado than you intended. The barkeep nods and taps the top of the bar with his finger. You stride over and slap 2 coins down. He smiles a gapped and broken smile. He has a large scar down his throat.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
The little lamb breathes fire, says the blonde miner. Let me try it again. The little lamb breathes fire, says the blonde miner, pounding his fist on the table. Good, slurs the glassy-eyed miner. I had enough of the watered-down piss they call ale around here. The hard stuff, exclaims the blonde miner. Respect for your elders, a rare thing. These three are already pretty well drunk, but the Dragon's Fire ought to make them quite a bit drunker. I may not even have to cheat, you think. Gold increases by 8 and morale increases by 2. So you sip your mead slowly. Nevertheless, you start to feel your thoughts begin to thicken. And so you accidentally spill the remainder of your drink across the table. The glassy-eyed miner does not notice, but the other two curse at you as they pull their cards off the table. Young and clumsy, says the blonde miner, whom you now know as Lendar. Pointing at your mug, he slurs, respect. Respect every drop. Respect every drop. You don't win every hand, but these men are soon paying you well enough that you buy another round. The more they drink, the more brash their bets are, and more importantly, the easier they are to read. Lendar taps his finger on the table when he has a good hand. Bent hums softly to himself. That's a name?
Don't judge.
Alright. Hums softly to himself when he has a strong hand. Terway, the glassy-eyed one, and certainly the drunkest of the trio, turns out to be the hardest to read. His expression never changes, no doubt because he is about to pass out.
Poker face. Oh, what? Really?
He's about to pass out.
What? Okay.
Aside from the drinks, you've been ordering bread and cheese for yourself to soak up the alcohol and keep your head clear. Smart man. The barkeep and the serving wench seem pleased that someone is ordering food for a change. The barkeep keeps close to your table more often than the others, watching with his gap teeth. Evidently, you're the big spender in the room. It occurs to you that you could probably take quite a bit more with the aid of some sleight of hand. You have a high card that stays stuffed in your sleeve. When you were in your lord's army, you used it for card tricks. Something to while away time and entertain, however, when the mark is easy. What do? Do you want to cheat or do you want to play straight?
Well, they're super drunk except for one. No, they're all drunk, aren't they?
Yeah, but the barkeep is also keeping an eye on you.
Ah, so you can't. If you cheat, you might get caught. Is that what you
There's a chance that you might get caught. Like, there's always in these kinds of games, there's always a consequence with whatever you choose. It might be the good thing, it might be the bad thing. So, if you were in, what's our name? We don't even have a name.
Basta.
If you're in the rogue shoes, would you, and you're in this situation, would you cheat for a little while or would you play straight?
I feel like my odds are fine if I play straight. Is the thing.
So you're gonna play straight.
Yeah.
All right, play straight. Oh, 3 more gold.
Yeah. The miners are drunk, but that barkeep and the serving wench are keeping a close eye on you. Big spender or not, no barkeep likes to cheat. Cheating causes fights, and no barkeep likes a fight. You have to play straight. You have to play straight. You continue to win at first, getting a fine pile, but then your luck turns. The glassy-eyed miner, Terway, gets on a roll and you can never tell when he is bluffing or not. You decide that it's time to push away from the table and see what else there is to do. The miners jeer at you a bit, obviously disappointed that the pup is walking away with some of their hard-earned coin. You assure them it was all luck of the fool and that you'll certainly be giving them back their coin another day. Bullshit. You motion the server over and tip her well. You hope a little kindness will bring you luck in your new city. You make a show of dropping the silver and copper on her tray. Let everyone know I am generous, you think. She smiles warmly and gives a deep curtsy before walking away to resume her duties.
Oh, why is there an ad?
No idea.
Ah, man. We have an ad on the stream right now.
I mean, I
This
like
is
her top.
this is the danger of mobile games, ladies and gentlemen. If you're gonna stream and you're online, you're gonna have to like go through a little bit of ads. I'm just happy it's not one of those homescape ones, you know,
Oh yeah, the
gardenscape
homescape ones. Yeah.
That's not even the actual game. I don't
It's
know.
not
why.
nga daw. The inn patrons have changed since you pulled up a seat for the card game. There's a pair of dwarves up at the bar now. Judging by their grubby skin, they're also employed by the local silver mining guild. You take note that they're ignoring the human miners. You're not surprised. Dwarves and humans get along well enough, but dwarves are never exactly friendly in your experience, and they are known to be suspicious of strangers. Nevertheless, they might make a rich mark. Dwarves love gold. The two pretty women are still at the table. They're laughing more freely now, and the motions of their hands as they talk are more relaxed. You notice wedding bands on them both. The wine is low in the bottle between them. You could talk to them. You might even be able to pick a pocket if an opportunity presents itself.
They are clearly drinking.
They're comely women, too. The cloaked woman is still at the other table, but thankfully the soldier in the tunic is gone. Her long black hair covers much of her face, but you can see her scowling lips pointed down at the table. You wonder if she's still nursing that same glass of ale. Maybe you shouldn't risk her, but there are a lot of pockets in that cloak. Really? She might have something valuable in all those folds. She's not a mark for me, you think. She was in the company of one of the Duke's soldiers, and besides, you haven't been in this city long enough to yet know who is safe to steal from. You'll need more than gold to make it in this city. You'll need knowledge too. You decide to start with the dwarves. Really? If nothing else. If nothing else.
Wow! What do you got against dwarves?
No, but he was just saying that they're suspicious. There's two women that are drinking and then drunk as hell.
Alright.
Anyway, I would have started with the women.
Okay.
You decide to start with the dwarves. If nothing else, dwarves live a very long time, so this pair might know a thing or two about the city and its surroundings, if they'll speak to you.
Dwarves are a hard. Well, if I've known anything about dwarves from Lord of the Rings
And Harry Potter.
and Harry Potter. Wait, may dwarves in Harry Potter?
Aren't,
Dwarves ba yung sa Gringotts?
aren't they?
Let us know in the chats if like
Oh, God.
if the ones in Gringotts are like dwarves actually. Anyway,
Anyway,
you're a pace away before the dwarf nearest you turns and narrows his large dark eyes at you. And what would you be wanting? He says in a loud, gruff voice. They're see elves, right? So
sorry.
I don't know, like, but I don't know. They might be dwarves. We might be wrong. Suspicious creatures, you think?
Dobby was an elf.
Yeah. Ah.
But the people in the bank, what were they?
I think the people in the bank were dwarves.
Okay, but Dobby was an elf.
They kind of look the same.
The shape of the ears were the same.
If I'm being magical creature racist, yes, they look the same. Anyway, suspicious creatures, you think? It's like he can smell your intention. You stammer? Was just going to offer to buy you a mug. His beard twitches. What for? You know, you like when they do that.
Oh,
He
goblins.
he shouts.
Gringotts goblins.
Ah, goblins. Okay.
No dwarves then. Anyway,
Thank you very much, Azuria03.
thank you.
Because his beard twitches. What for? He shouts. Because I am so pretty. Oh man.
Yes, just
Ha!
say yes.
Shouts the other dwarf, slapping the bar. Every time the nose hair charms them. Oh, never mind then, you say.
And somebody has lied to you, man.
No, says the first dwarf. By all means, you may buy me a drink. By Bondar's belt, you can buy this one. He raises his mug. I already paid the man, so you may pay me now. You want me to pay you a coin? Is that not the same thing at the end of it all? He asks. His beard is twitching rhythmically. You wonder if this is some sort of silent dwarven laugh. It is just that I am new in this city. Oh, that is plain, says the dwarf, cutting you off. Ha! Shouts the other dwarf, again slapping the table. I'd like to speak to some men, dwarves of wisdom, you say. A conversation. Oh well, if a young human wants to chat our ear off, only the top barrel slog will do, says the dwarf, so we have to pay more.
Yeah.
Only the best ale will make listening to that bearable, agrees the other dwarf. The barkeep approaches. What will it be? Greedy dwarves, you think. They want you to buy the best ale in the house. What do you do?
Probably the best, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to piss off 3 drunken dwarves?
Yeah, exactly. I would buy the best. If you want to get on their good side long enough to steal.
We're buying the best.
We're buying the best. No!
Gold decreases by
Okay.
3. We still have 10 lives. We're still at 11 gold. We have high morale. Well, we have 2 morale, so that's pretty good.
Okay.
Gold decreases by 3. The barkeep smiles his broken teeth when you tell him your order. The dwarves bow and introduce themselves as Tholmer, the more talkative and abusive of the pair, and Joram. Both beards shake rhythmically as the mugs are placed before them. Kala ko the dwarf was named Tumbler. Tumbler.
Tumblr.
That makes sense.
It was pretty close.
Tumblr. I remember that site.
Okay. Moving on.
So what is it that you want to know? Asks Tholmer. He closes his eyes as he sips from his mug. I am new to the city, you say. What advice do you have for me? A man who pays for advice, says Tholmer. Not the worst sort of human, I suppose. Not the worst sort, not by any length, rejoins Shoram. Let us start with this city's name, says Tholmer. Do you know why they call it Ring City? Because of the circular walls, one inside the other, like the rings of a tree stump, you say. So it's like, kind of like a Bossing Say times 3, I guess.
What?
Kasi diba Bossing Say was,
is-
Bossing Say was circular,
Yeah.
had walls around it.
Yeah.
I guess like the inner circle is more, Anyway,
Oh wait, isn't it that other anime with the giants?
Shingeki no Kyojin,
What's the English translation of that?
Attack on Titan.
Yes.
Yes.
That one.
Right, says Tholmer. 3 rings of walls that make 3 very different parts of the city. The inner ring was the first wall built. Back then, it was only a town. Called Hell's Gate back then, says Huram. It was well named, always under threat by the brutal giants of Landas, so Attack on Titan, who lived in the nearby mountains, says Tholmer. You can understand why the humans needed a high wall. Anyway, as the city grew, a new wall eventually had to be built to contain her people. 3 walls so far, and there will be more in the centuries to come. If we keep finding silver, she will grow,
Oh.
says Shoram. The point is not the history lesson, the point is that those rings, the outer, the middle, and the inner, make up very different, what do you humans call it? Social stratata, says Shoram. Social stratata. Stratata. Sure. Stratata. Sure. Well, different neighborhoods, says Tholmer. The inner ring at the center of the city is for the duke, the nobility,
It is Attack on Titan. Yeah.
and their servants. Where we are now, the middle ring, is where well-to-do commoners live. Begs the question of how you got in here, says Shoram.
Ooh.
One does not just walk through the wall gates. One does not just walk through the wall gates. Joram and I, and even those filthy miners you were playing cards with, are all a bit more than mere miners within the guild. We dwarves are specialists. We tell them where to dig, and those men you were playing cards with supervise other men. Believe it or not, says Tholmer, his eyebrows raised at you. I thought I was paying for advice, not to answer questions about my business, you say. Tholmer's beard shakes rhythmically, laughing. This all circles around to my main ingot of advice, says Tholmer. Do you know what that is? You shake your head. Do not get yourself killed. He sips from his mug and stares at you. After many seconds of this, you say, would it please you to be a trifle more specific? The rings for starters, as I said. The inner ring is for nobility. You better be highborn or have legitimate business with them to walk in there. Or they stick your head on a pike along the wall, says Shorb. The wall of the outer ring, mind you, says Tholmer, the stench will not do for the nobles. Which brings me to the outer ring. That's where most humans in this city live, and it's not the sort of place for a stranger with no friends to stay. Cut your throat for a copper, says Shorb. And do not think you're safe in the middle ring either, says Tholmer. Take those two, for instance, he says, pointing at the two young women at the table. Do not be trying to get into those petticoats, or your severed head will be on the wall by sunset. They are wed to men who think they are important, but more importantly, other men think them important.
Ooh.
That is true.
The importance of other people is an illusion. Is that what it is?
Very well. I will not speak to them, you say. I did not say that. I said, do not try to get into their petticoats. More to the point, do not succeed. Success is straight out, says Yoram. Have others, succeeded? How should I know, says Tholmer. Well then, how would you know that sucks? Bandor's sake. I've lived around your people longer than you. Thalmor scolds. I know how humans are. If you fight and die over the tall and skinny one, says Yoram. Ha! Nonsense. Cause dwarves like shorter and like stouter women, I believe. Like as dwarves do. Oh, but that pair likes to talk, says Thalmor, and they enjoy a compliment or two. That red one likes to hear herself sing. I saw a boy, might have been a girl, who can tell. I saw a boy tell her she had a fine voice and she kissed him on his cheek. Boy got a look that was stupid as an iron ingot. Happy, I suppose. Ha! Humans always look as stupid as an ingot, says Yoram. The two dwarves clink mugs and drink deep. And there is another one to beware, says ang haba nito, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Wiping his mouth and then pointing at the lone woman in dark cloak, that one is always looking for fools to go with her on some fool errand or another. Wants to strike it rich. Not by digging in the ground as an honest dwarf would, you see. No, she wants to slay monsters for the Duke or some other dangerous foolishness, you can be sure. She's an adventurer! Finally, an adventurer, you ask. Is that what you humans call them? Asks Thalmor. To us, it is plain what they are. Fools. The two dwarves clink mugs and drink deep. Us dwarves are short in stature but long in life, says Thalmor, taking another drink. Humans are on the other hand and tall in stature and short in life, much more suited to perishing on some fool quest. Ha! Yoram slaps the table. You will be dead soon anyway. You know that the dwarves can be as bloodthirsty and reckless as any human, particularly when gold is at stake. The High Mountain Wars are a fine example. You could call the dwarves on this or let it slide. I think the High Mountain Wars are like a thing that happened in history that the dwarves were part of. Do you want to call them on it or do you want to let it slide?
Let it slide.
Well, yeah, that's true. Calling them out on it might be picking a fight.
Yeah. You have the information you need. Why do you have to fight on it?
Alright, let it slide.
Ooh, morale increases by 1. My point to all this, says Thalmor, taking a sip of ale, if you can find 3 creatures in this city who will not kill you, call that 3 your family and be done with it. Or even 1, says Yoram. Good enough for you. Right, you say, ignoring Yoram?
Yoram.
Do not trust easily, and what else would you have me know of the city? Thalmor sets down his drink. He leans down and turns, his braided beard sweeping from the bar to his knees. He looks you in the eyes and lowers his voice to barely a whisper. Death is coming. There has been some disturbance among the gods. What?
Among the goods.
Among the gods. The priests of the city are not saying anything, mind you, but there are rumors of a god falling. Trouble among the gods is trouble for all, says Yoram, his voice now like Thalmor's.
Now low like Thalmor.
Now low like Thalmor's.
So in a high voice?
Oh my god, yeah.
Anyway.
The destruction of a god. Thalmor continues, shaking his head ominously. That has not happened in recent memory. But our elders do have stories from ancient times.
So recap. We're just trying to get 10 gold by the end of the night, and then suddenly there's a god that's dying.
Apparently. Yeah. Watch yourself, says Oram. Have a place you can hide. Keep some food, something that will not spoil. You may have to run. You look at Yoram in surprise. It's the first time he hasn't mocked or taunted you. My brother and I plan to be deep underground when the trouble begins, says Thalmor. The city burned once, and the wheel may turn again. You nod at Thalmor. Your brother says to get some salted meat and a hole to burrow in. I hope you have more advice than that. Thalmor leans in closer. I do, he whispers. You bend towards him, your heads nearly touching. He takes a breath and raises his voice. For God's sake, grow a beard if you can, boy.
I can't if I try.
Make yourself the illusion of a man because this city takes no pity on children.
I like how the dwarves become British.
Ha! Yoram slaps the bar. Keeps your chin warm in winter, too.
What?
You let out a puff of air and straighten up. Thalmor upends his mug. Ale spills down his beard braid. He laughs silently for a moment and then says, my drink is gone. A pleasure to talk to you, but truth be told, I can only stand a minute or 2 with a human before I get to feeling drowsy.
Fair.
Talking to you takes it right out of us, says Yoram. Makes me want a nap. For a human, you are not so bad though, says Thalmor. Every day we meet twice, flashes Yorum. As though on the cue of some silent signal, the two dwarves turn to you and bow their heads. They then turn back to the bar. Well, that is that, you think. I have made friends with dwarves. Well met, you say as you swing off the stool. The dwarves do not respond. Perhaps not friends exactly, you think. Nevertheless, this encounter will be something you remember, you're sure. You catch the eye of one of the young women who have been seated since you came in. The redhead refocuses on the woman across from her, but you figure there's no harm in being friendly on your first day in town. Probably. How do you approach them? Of course, you could just introduce yourself, but they're in the middle of a conversation and you need something to interject with. You could make up an excuse based on the fact that you are new to the city. Maybe they know a good butcher? No, that's not the sort of question for a pair of richly dressed and bejeweled women. A recommendation for a good theater? You have snuck into a few plays in your younger years and found them enjoyable. Alternatively, you could pay one of them a compliment. Do you ask about theater? Or do you pay these ladies a compliment?
Oh,
you tell me.
You know me.
What?
If I play it right, we're gonna have to compliment them.
Okay.
Not bad. Not bad. I mean, you know, the saying, if you want to be a good rogue, you gotta compliment people. Make them like you.
That's true.
Yeah, let's pay them a compliment.
Okay.
A few options come to mind for a compliment. Both women are pretty, but you do not wish to give a generic compliment. Better to focus on one thing. The redhead has a lovely voice that carries through the room and is like music. The brunette has a dazzling blue dress. She probably paid a fortune for it. It was mentioned earlier that one of them really liked their voice, so I think complimenting the redhead's voice might be better. If you were a woman, would you?
Well, my analysis would be okay. The redhead has talent, but apparently the brunette has money. You don't know if the redhead has money.
What will you choose?
Probably the dress.
Alright, let's do it. Oh wow. Comedy na yun. Anyway. The women are seated at a table on a raised platform, perhaps normally used as a stage for musicians. Although you are normally comfortable speaking to women, you can't help but feel a twinge of intimidation as you approach them from below. Apologies for intruding, my ladies, you say as you step up onto the platform. You now have both of their attention. You bow to the brunette. That dress is a wonder. You obviously have an eye for style. Thank you, sir. Well, why don't you say?
Thank you, sir.
She smiles faintly.
You obviously have an eye for flattery.
And what about me, sorry.
What about me, stranger?
Says the redhead with an exaggerated batting of her eyelashes.
No honey words from me?
The brunette snorts. You bow graciously. I was about to say that your voice is pure music.
Like a farmer scattering seeds, this man scatters compliments.
The brunette says wryly.
What do you hope to read, sir?
Only to exchange a few kind words. You can feel the heat in your cheeks.
By inserting yourself into our conversation. Be nice.
Whispers the redhead. She then clears her throat.
What business brings you to the middle ring?
She is clearly projecting her voice now. She enjoyed my compliment. I told you the redhead would be. Told you it was the redhead. It's always the redhead.
What?
I don't know. I was hoping to find some entertainment, in truth. In truth, I would enjoy a good play, and you look like the sort who would be able to tell me where I might find a theater in this fine city. You pause and then add, I only spoke the truth about your impressions upon me. I hope I did not offend. Smooth. The redhead smiles and waves a hand.
There are two theaters in the middle ring, Bard's Tale and the Dove's Snout. If you like the classics, then Bard's Tale. If you want comedy, well, then you have the other.
What is your... I know, that's his
What is your favorite play, stranger?
Legally Blonde musical, Joe.
Yes.
Asked the brunette with an easier smile. You could be honest and tell her that you do not have one yet, but wish to. Another option would be to lie. You have heard that there is a new play out called Jeula's Vengeance that is gathering critical acclaim throughout the kingdom. The women might be impressed by a man of culture. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
I have not a favorite yet, but I look forward to selecting one. Realizing inexperience makes you appear naive and trustworthy, you take a deep breath and add, I have not been to many plays. The giant and the wolf and the dragon squeezes the bellows are all I have seen.
Those are children's plays.
The brunette snorts. The redhead gives her a quick glare. You smile humbly. They were a joy to me at the time. The redhead smiles indulgently.
As did I when I was a little girl. I particularly enjoyed a dragon squeezes the bellows.
Yes! You exclaim. Then you laugh. As I remember it, the dragon flew around accidentally poisoning the farmer's cattle by releasing...
I'd forgotten!
She interrupts, covering her suddenly crimson face with embarrassment. You chuckle.
Oh, but the effects!
She says, between her fingers, her voice still as clear as a silver bell.
Did they use...
Yeah.
you or me?
No, that's you.
Oh, did they use real magic in your production?
No, just wires and sulfur. You say in sudden disappointment. You never considered that you hadn't even seen a dragon squeezes the bellows at its best. The brunette chimes in then.
We didn't mention that the outer ring of the city has a theater. The final song!
The redhead removes her hands from her face and straightens in her chair. Giving her companion a scowl, she says sharply, "Of course, we did not..." Sorry, that's you.
Oh, of course, we do not recommend it. Don't go anywhere in the outer ring unless you want to be robbed and beaten, especially in the evenings. Of course,
Says the brunette.
I was just trying to think of all the theaters. There's also Highmark in the inner ring.
The redhead frowns at her friend again.
Never mind that one.
She instructs you, but she seems disinclined to elaborate. Ruffians there too? You ask?
No,
Her cheeks redden again.
they're just... It's only for... She's right.
The brunette says.
You're probably not their sort.
Then you remember what the dwarves explained about the inner ring and realize that she is belittling your social standing. It appears the redhead is the happy drunk and the brunette is the mean drunk. You could say something to that effect or you could keep quiet. What do you do? Gotta let it slide.
Yeah, you have to let it slide.
Gotta let it slide.
Gotta let it slide. I agree.
Well, perhaps I should leave you both to your conversation. You say, motioning to leave.
No, stay a moment.
Says the redhead, putting up her hand.
I am Rohija, and this is Katrain.
Twirling one finger in her fiery red hair, she asks,
And you are?
They call me Dragon. You lie.
Dragon, Rohisha repeats with a faint smile. Well met. It was kind of what you did for Emmeline, says Rohisha.
Who?
The serving wench, Emmeline, says Rohisha.
Oh yes, of course.
You reply.
Her little boy went under the wheel. Oh, sorry, that's
Her
Rohisha.
little boy went under the wheel of a carriage a fortnight ago, says Rohisha. The coin will go to the healer, certainly, says Katrain.
By their dress and jewelry, you would estimate these women have plenty of coin on their own. You wonder how much they have given to Emmeline. You decide it would be unwise to ask. You wonder whether you might be able to lift a trinket or two from these well-bred young ladies. From their manner, you'd say they're conveniently dulled by the drink. You scan the other patrons and, more importantly, the inn staff. No one is paying you any mind at the moment. What do? Do you attempt to pickpocket or do you not steal from them? I mean, we haven't done anything roguelike so far, so might as well, right?
it's a good attempt to pickpocket.
I mean, yeah, why not? Let's attempt to pickpocket.
Oh my god. Ah!
Lifting jewelry is difficult and you do not want to get caught for thievery on your first day in the city. Also, you don't even want them to suspect you later since you will likely be staying in the city for a while. But the precariously loose bracelet on Rohisha's wrist is calling to you. It is probably only gold-plated, but it would fetch several gold pieces, you suppose. She has many on such places, so you hope she will not miss it. As loose as the bracelet is, you will need some distraction or excuse to touch her. You could try a magic trick pulling a coin from behind her ear, that sort of thing, or... Wait, sorry, behind her ear, that sort of thing. You normally use it to amuse children, but these women may enjoy the diversion. Another option would be to ask Rohisha to sing. You have a decent voice yourself, and maybe that can lead to a little dancing and then an accidental touch or two. Finally, there's this old drunken fall routine. You're in the inn after all, no one expects you to be sober.
Duet.
Duet. Let's do the duet. Morale increases by 1.
Would you mind? Oh, that's you.
Would you mind singing for me? You ask Rohisha. I would hear that lovely voice lifted in song.
Rohisha blushes deeply. I could not. She stammers. Here?
Yes, you say. You would do us all an honor. You smile and nod toward the miners, although we may not deserve it.
That is a steep request for a stranger to make to a lady, says Katrain, twisting her lips.
But I would accompany her. You add hastily. Turning to Rohisha, you say. So if your voice were to falter, I would pull you up.
I really am not sure, Rohisha stammers.
The new child sees her first horizon. Oh wait,
You're
I sing.
singing. Oh, sing na.
I don't know how to. The new child sees her first horizon. Nah, I can't sing.
Oh.
You sing. It's a popular song that everyone in the kingdom grows up with, although it is not officially endorsed by the king. It is a song about peace, after all. You don't have to sing.
The new snow falls from the sky.
Rohisha joins in without missing a beat. Your voices melt together, and it is rather good if you do say so yourself. We rejoice the gods are sleeping. Mortals left in peace by and by. It is not long before Katrine joins in, though she is doing a little more than humming. Soon after that, the miners join in. You're not surprised. By now, they are drunk enough. They do not add well to the medley. Rohisha gets to her feet, her confidence growing. She smiles sweetly at you during a pause between verses. Verses, I think it means verses.
Verses, yeah.
Rohisha, even the cloaked woman in the corner begins singing softly toward the end of the song. When the song is done, the humans clap and the dwarves pound the bar with their fists. Gold increases by 6, morale increases by 1. Got him. Another melody? You ask.
Something merry.
She says, flushed and beaming. Get your dog out of my bed. He has fleas, plus he's dead. You sing. The miners shout encouragement.
No, not that.
Shouts Rohisha.
A proper drinking song.
Oh, you start. I know a maid who loves her ale. She thought it me, but it was my dog's tail. Ang labo. Anyway.
Rohisha laughs and shakes her head.
She lunges toward you, putting her finger up to your lips. How about Tasha's bottomless barrel?
You shout.
No. How about Tasha's bottomless barrel? You shout. Huzzah! Shouts the bold blonde miner Lendar. The dwarves pound the bar.
At least there are no dogs in that one, says Rohisha.
You and Rohisha start the song and the entire inn joins in. Soon the two of you are dancing. You take her wrist and swing her round and round. The bracelet comes off her wrist like a whisper. With that business done, you're free to enjoy the rest of the song, belting out the bawdy, ridiculous lyrics and dancing with Rohisha. You even try to switch partners and dance with Katrine. She pushes you away, but not before you get a proper laugh out of her. The miners shout for more, but Rohisha holds up her hand. The women take their seats again. Do you ladies mind if I sit for a moment and ask you about your fair city? You ask. Katrine motions to a chair.
Sit, but not too close. We are married women, and no city is too large for gossip. And you are more handsome than those.
Why thank you, says Rohisha with a sweet smile that makes your heart beat faster. You smile big and bow. Katrine gives Rohisha a hard look.
Sorry.
Turning a shade of red, Rohisha stares down at the table.
There are words you say and words you keep.
She mutters this to herself as if she's very familiar with the admonishment.
For her, wine muddles them together.
Says Katrine, shaking her head. What do you do?
Stay gentle.
Stay gentlemen. We don't wanna get our dick cut off. Wine does the same for me, you say, mustering your most kind voice and polite smile.
What shall we tell you of our city, says Rohisha.
A path to some coin would be a start, you say.
The mining guild is the largest employer, says Rohisha.
You clear your throat. An easy and rapid path to coin.
She laughs. She laughs, and then seeing that you're serious, thinks for a moment. If you can swing a sword, join the Duke's men. They are always skimming and bullying the outer circle. The authorities here are a little better than a thieves' guild, whispers Rohisha. My husband. He supplies the farmers in the area and... Manure, says Katrine, laughing. Her man supplies horse manure scooped from the city streets.
Wow.
He does not scoop it himself, says Rohisha, looking pointedly at her companion. His guild provides a service to the city while increasing the harvest of our local farmers. Gets paid by both the Duke's treasury and the farmers, says Katrine with a laugh. Who knew what came out of the end of a horse could be so profitable? Rohisha lowers her voice to a whisper. We pay a tax to the city guard for protection. She makes a sour face. Katrine sighs. And protection you get, not just from the Duke's men, but from any guild who wants to enter the manure business. Remember the Sweepers Guild? More than one of them got their skull cracked when... Point is that the only real law is the edge of a sword, says Rohisha, interrupting Katrine. If you wish to do business, make the right friends, says Katrine.
True here and everywhere else, you say. The trick is to make the coin to make the friends in the first place.
Well, you can talk to her, says Katrine, tilting her head toward the lone cloaked woman across the inn. She fancies herself a sorcerer or some such. I've heard she's looking to form a party to risk life for loot. She wants to go into the... Rohisha hunches down over the table and whispers, sewers. She makes a face. To hunt whatever monsters are down there. A party was formed a moon ago. One of the Duke's men and several desperate rabble, says Katrine. A young farmer with a pitchfork was the only one to make it out alive.
A pitchfork, you ask.
Said it gave the reach he needed to keep the vermin at bay. She shrugs. In any case, that doomed expedition did not encourage any more adventures, except for her.
It is no... Oh, sorry.
It is no wonder, says Rohisha, hunching even further down over the table. You know what is said about her? Rohisha, do not. That she raised the dead, whispers Rohisha.
Gods, you mutter. Like a zombie?
Her cat, says Rohisha, her eyes wide.
Well, if you had the chance to revive your cat, would you?
Yeah.
Anyway, her cat, you say blinking, do you jest?
To raise an animal, even a beloved pet, is illegal, says Katrine. Necromancy, she adds in a whisper.
So why is she not in the dungeon or her head?
Because it is only a rumor, says Katrine, cutting you off. She shakes her head at her friend. There are words you say and words you keep.
Rohisha smiles sheepishly at her friend. The three of you are huddled together at the table. As though just noticing this, Katrine sits back in her chair and motions to the serving wench, a pair of coins in her fingers.
Dragon, my friend and I have enjoyed our talk with you, but it is time for you to leave.
Rohisha smiles sadly.
It will not do to be seen conversing with strangers.
People talk, you say easily and give them a wink. You get to your feet, take a final bow, and hurry over toward the table of this sorcerer.
If this sorcerer is connected to the local guard, then she may know a thing or two, but she could also be dangerous to a man like you. Be polite, you remind yourself. If she doesn't want to talk, show respect.
You place a hand on her table and put on your most sincere smile. You say loudly enough to catch her attention. You look like you have a lot on your mind.
Oh my god. She looks up and her scowly lips draw into a firm line. She has large, dark eyes. They rove over you, sizing me up, you think.
Do you mind if I sit? You ask, motioning to the chair across from her, the one the soldier had been sitting in. She pauses, her eyes locked on yours in a way that makes a shiver run down your spine. She smiles back. It's a fake smile, but it's polite. She nods. You take a seat. I am Dragon. Her eyebrows raise.
You go by the name Dragon. Isn't that a bit self-aggrandizing?
What is she on about? You wonder. Very well, you can call me
Rooster!
All right.
Rooster!
All right, Rooster. You say.
She has nice straight teeth. Now that makes me strike the mark. Well met. I am Kriya.
I'm sorry we had to go with Rooster. I know from one indie wrestler to another I love Warhorse, but Rooster just made it like, you know.
Look at this hair. Like just if we put red streaks in it. Rooster!
We are planning that though. Anyway,
Yeah.
you relax into your seat. What
I
can
do? Sorry. What can I do for you, Rooster?
she asks. You're impressed that she actually said your new name with a straight face. How do you answer her? You could tell her that you're new in the city and would like to talk to a local. Another option would be to flirt. She might be attractive with a little paint on the face and the proper dress. Or you could pass yourself off as mysterious. Maybe make her guess. Do you want to talk? I'm either talk as to a local or be mysterious. I don't want to flirt. She knows I'm a Rooster.
Talk to a local?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
I am new to this city, and I was hoping I could find a local to tell me a bit about my new home, you say.
You are not just passing through then.
She asks. No, I mean to stay a while, you say. At her expression, you ask, why do you look so surprised?
I have never seen you here before. And your manner of speaking, your accent, says you're from over the mountains?
I have an accent? You say.
She smiles.
It is so slight that most would not notice it. I study people.
You shrug. You'd rather not talk about where you're from. That could lead to other questions. To be honest, I don't even know anyone in Ring City, and I'm looking for an occupation, you say. She shakes her head.
You don't look like the sort who would work in the mines, she says.
I don't look strong enough, you say. You ask.
You appear healthy, and the gods have gifted you with some height and frame. But there are no calluses on your hands, she says. You don't make your coin with hard labor.
I'd rather make it with my courage and my wits, you say. They call Ring City a place for adventure.
Really? Is that what you are? An adventurer?
I nod.
Where are your weapons and armor? She asks.
I sold it all to get here, you say.
Freya suddenly sits back in her chair. Her cloak opens slightly and you catch a glimpse of what looks like fur in a large inner pocket. Stranger, I am getting wary of your lies. Noticing where your eyes have strayed, she closes her cloak.
Lies? You ask, doing your best to sound indignant. Lies?
Half-truths, perhaps. I cannot say.
Well, let me be plain. I heard you may have a job for an adventurer, you say.
She chants something in a slow, low voice and then slaps the table sharply.
What did you say? What was that language? You ask.
Freya studies you for a moment and then says, I saw you like card games. How about we play a game? If you answer a question of mine truthfully, then I will answer one of yours.
Very well.
She spits on her hand and holds it out to you. You spit and shake. You spit and shake.
She chants something else again in that low voice.
All right. I will ask first, she says with a satisfied smile. I do not care about your real name, but if I'm to do business with a man, I want to know whom he is running from.
I am not running.
Whom are you running from?
Your thoughts stop and your words begin to spill out in a torrential whisper. My family is one of highly skilled gamblers and expert thieves. Almost a year ago, my father stole from the wrong man, a man with connections to House Vru'dahir. The house murdered my mother. They sold my father to Lord Wallington's army. When he fell in battle, they sold me into the army, and now I carry his debt. I am to pay 10 gold by sunset at each new moon. You pause as you fight your compulsion to speak. Gods, she has bewitched me. You think. Pain flashes through your mind. Must finish. Lord Wallington cut wages for his soldiers, and there was no plunder to be had. I feared I would not be able to make my payments for long. When I don't, they promised the rack and torture, a slow and miserable death, and that my sister will be sold to slavers. You pause, again fighting the enchantment, but you cannot. You cannot. I deserted. I had no choice, so I am also running from Lord Wallington's bounty hunters. The fist around your mind loosens. Curse you! You hiss at her. You are a witch!
You peer around the inn, afraid that your revelations will have ruined your chances to glean money here. Thankfully, no one seems to be paying attention to you. And you are a thief and a renegade. Her voice has no malice. In fact, it sounds kind. Now, per our agreement, you may ask a question of me.
But you won't be forced to comply as I was, will you? You say with a glare.
But I will, she says quickly. That is the way of magic. Sometimes. It gives and it takes. She smiles. Now that I have answered your question, I will ask another. What value would you bring to my adventuring party?
You're still gaping in outrage when the words start streaming.
This is not the right music.
Of their own accord. I am a good scout. I can move quietly and unseen when it pleases me. I have modest skills at picking pockets and locks. I have been trained with a few weapons and understand battle tactics. Better that time, you think. At least you did not go on and on with your blabbing. However, you're unhappy with the use of the term modest. Skill. Truth is often cruel.
Freya nods. Hoping to avoid spilling more uncomfortable secrets, you straighten your cloak and say,
It is time for me to go.
But you get to ask me another question, she insists. But ask quickly, the spell lasts only so long.
Well, she already pulled your most pressing secret out of you straight away. Perhaps now is the time to learn something from her. Several options come to you. Your first question could find out whether or not you can trust her. You'd certainly like to know if she is an evil witch. You're desperately curious to know whether she raised the dead, as Rohisha claimed. It might be more practical to ask what she brings to the adventure party. Is she a powerful wizard? What do you ask?
Go for the jugular. Ask her if she's Stephen King.
Actually, yeah, why not? Has she raised the dead?
Okay.
It's an interesting. Well, let's see what comes after this. If it like comes to a stalemate, we'll just figure out. Like this might be the last question. So thank you, everyone. Whoa, we're back to 7 viewers. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight.
Hello. Thanks for joining.
We're about to ask this person who wants to have an adventuring party to go down into the sewers to fight monsters. We're gonna ask her if she has raised the dead, specifically her dead cat.
Yes. So, here we go.
Ooh!
Raising the dead is illegal and certainly punishable by death.
Thank you,
Freya
Shang Daddy.
knows secrets about you, and so you would like to balance the scales. Aside from that, you would like to test her claim that the spell requires her to tell the truth. Certainly, she wouldn't admit to necromancy if she were not compelled to. Of course, Katrine did say it was just a rumor.
That's
So
better.
if she denies it, that does not necessarily mean she is lying. Not a good test, but it's something.
You give Kreia your most evil grin. Is it true that you have raised the dead?
She scowls and hesitates. She bites her lip and then finally says in a whisper, "Yes, I raised my familiar, a raven named Mighty Beak."
Mighty Beak. A raven, not a cat.
She laughs uncomfortably, shifting in her seat. "I am not surprised that is what you heard. They think witch and then think cat. In any case, it did not work out. Once raised, he was nearly mindless and constantly hungry for flesh, far worse than when he was alive. The poor thing could not even fly anymore. I destroyed it the same night."
Her spell really does compel her to speak the truth, you think, unless she's being clever. What do you think of rats? Oh, no, sorry.
"What do you think of rats?"
She asks. Rats? You pause. You feel no compulsion to answer. After a few seconds, you smile triumphantly. Evidently, your spell has lost its potency. I shall decline to answer your question.
Kreia frowns, opens her cloak, and digs around for a moment. She then throws a furry animal onto the table with a long, naked tail.
Rat! You gasp as you tilt your chair away. It lies limply in front of you. Its eyes are closed. Its mouth is frozen open, revealing yellowish incisors. Incisors.
Oh, okay. "I presume that you do not care for them," says Kreia with a chuckle.
Who? You stutter in a whisper. Who carries around a dead rat? You look around the inn. Katrine is staring at your table. Her face is contorted with disgust. Put it away! You hiss.
Kreia continues to smile as she carefully lifts the dead rodent off the table and stuffs it into her cloak. Morris was my most recent familiar." Her smile fades, trampled by a horse.
Oh man.
Broke his back, the poor dear.
So it's dead?
I guess.
I think it's time I take my leave, you say, scooting back your chair.
"And what's of House Vru'dahir?" she asks. "Even if you have your payment by sundown tonight, what about the next moon?"
I'll manage, you say, standing.
"They stop at no expense. They hire the best diviners in the kingdom to scribe for debtors," she says.
They have a reputation to protect, you agree. Just then, the door to the inn jangles open and you look up. Rohisha and Katrine are leaving the inn. Rohisha glances back at you as the door shuts behind them.
Never mind her, says Kreia in a soft voice, nodding at the door. She needs to get back to her wealthy husband anyway.
You turn back at Kreia. She motions to your chair. People like you and I must make our own way. And I have a proposition for you. For an avaricious man. Oh, sorry, that's you.
"Oh, people like you and I must make our own way. And I have a proposition for an avaricious man such as yourself."
It's not just for me, you say.
"Your sister, I know," she says with a dismissive wave of her hand. "Everyone has heard tales of how House Vru'dahir settles debts." You see.
And this is where we're gonna end it. So it's been an hour. Thank you so much, guys, for viewing. As like 8 viewers. Thank you so much. This was fun. We did not expect how long these stories were.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably pick this back up next week. I mean, if her schedule permits, if her voice acting schedule permits, we will be back at this next week. Just having fun. Thank you so much for joining us, Shang Daddy. Thank you, Azuria03. Thank you very much. To the rest of the viewers, thank you. And yeah, we hope you had fun. We hope this was a nice little bedtime story for everyone. Even though it was kind of weird at the start, but we're working on it. We're fixing it. And thank you everyone, and have a good night.
You guys have a good weekend. Thank you, guys.